We are the St. Louis Jewish Light, a nonprofit independent news source. We are storytellers and have been since 1947. Decades of archived papers tell that the Light has been offering a local Jewish perspective on moments that matter. From the booming days of post-World War II America through turbulent times to today's cultural landscape, the Light has told the story of Jewish St. Louisans finding their place in the world and informed us of human interest stories close to home. From birth announcements to obituaries and every moment in between, the Light has been the voice of our community for generations. Sensing the changing needs of the community, the Jewish Light published same-sex commitment announcements years before marriage equality, while continuing to tell the story and give the perspective of the most observant and traditional among us. In 70 years, we have told a lot of stories. But there is more between the lines. It's our story. It's a story told in the curled and yellow clippings of the paper that falls out of family albums. The proud moments of our community remembered by us and for us. It is the discussion of insightful articles over a cup of coffee. It is the information about the event where you meet your future spouse. It is the place where our community learns and grows together. It is a virtual space for us all. Our story is connection and continuation. Our story is your grandparents' news source and your grandchildren's connection to their Jewish future. Between the lines, lighting the way for generations to come. We are the St. Louis Jewish Light.
Welcome, and thank you for joining our program featuring the 2021 Unsung Heroes. I'm Betsy Schmidt, the St. Louis Jewish Light's Chief Executive Officer.
And I'm Ellen Futterman, Editor-in-Chief at the Light.
The Jewish Light remains a nonprofit organization in the St. Louis Jewish community that's mission informs, inspires, educates, and connects the St. Louis Jewish community. Since the beginning, the Jewish Light has anchored our community as an independent news source and continues to act as the hub connecting over 20,000 people in the Jewish circle through our printed newspaper and our digital newsletters.
Tonight we come together celebrating this year's Unsung Heroes. The Unsung Hero Award, which began in 2010, shines a light on individuals of any background or faith who generously volunteer to help the St. Louis Jewish community, and Jewish St. Louisans who volunteer either within the local Jewish community and or the community at large. As with any event, there are supporting event chairs. We would like to acknowledge and share our thanks to chairs Faith Berger, Galia Movitz, Sherry Sherman, and Jane Rudman Weiss, who have been involved in this event since its inception 12 years ago. Their dedication to the Unsung Heroes has allowed it to grow annually, illuminating the bright lights in our community.
We acknowledge and thank the sponsors that have helped to underwrite the programming through their generosity. Royal Banks, Clean, a uniform company, Alter Trading, Delmar Gardens, Mobile on the Run, Millstone Foundation, Dr. John Root and Debbie Zimmerman, Cohen Eye Associates, Dental Partners of Creve Coeur, Harvey Wallace and Madeline Elkins, Jewish Federation of St. Louis, Neil and Suzanne Gelman. Lastly, we thank you, our viewers, for joining in honoring our heroes. During the program, all hero tributes will remain open. To make a tribute, simply click Make a Tribute located above your video on the screen, or by visiting our website, stlJewishLight.org/unsung-heroes. Thank you for your continued support of the Jewish Light and our wonderful 2021 heroes.
Welcome to the 12th annual Unsung Heroes event, presented by the St. Louis Jewish Light. My name is Sherry Sherman, and along with Faith Berger, Galia Movitz, and Jeannie Weiss, we are delighted to be your co-chairs for this annual event. Together, we pay tribute to the bright lights in our community and express our sincere thanks to the many individuals and companies who helped to sponsor this year's event.
Sherry, Galia, Janie, and I have been part of Unsung Heroes since its inception in 2010. For those unfamiliar, Unsung Heroes was begun to honor St. Louis Jewish people doing exemplary volunteer work in the Jewish community and general communities, as well as non-Jewish people doing great volunteer work in the local Jewish community.
More than 120 volunteers and groups have been honored since the Unsung Heroes program began 11 years ago. We can find a list of all the former heroes and the online program and on the Light's website at stlJewishLight.org. Tonight, you're going to meet 6 amazing individuals and 2 extraordinary groups who will join this exalted list.
It's my pleasure to introduce you to the 2021 heroes. Arlen Chaleff, Laura Goldmeier, Nancy Kaiser, Carolyn Satz, Jeannie Weiss, the Get Tech Volunteer Program, the Tech Tutor Volunteer Program, and Jeffrey Golden, who is getting a well-deserved special recognition award for his decade-long service as a Board of Trustee at the Jewish Light. Now, please join in this year's program celebrating our unsung heroes and their many years of dedication to volunteerism and making a difference in our community.
In 1975, Arlen Chaleff was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Brought back to a level of wellness with medication and therapy, she found a new passion and purpose in life by volunteering with nonprofit agencies. Through her participation in organizations such as the National Alliance of Mental Illness, NAMI, where she served as its president, Jewish Family and Children's Services, now JFS, and Jewish Attention to Mental Illness, Arlen continues to work selflessly to help break down the stigma that often surrounds mental illness.
I'm somebody who was diagnosed with bipolar, known as manic depressive illness, in 1975 and lived through the worst of times. For a while, I lived between the gaps in my illness. I could not really function in a full-time job, but I had a friend who was starting a new nonprofit agency, and she said, maybe you could join my board. I'm just getting started. So I thought, maybe I can. Maybe I can't do much right away, but maybe I can. So little by little, as the medications got better, it was the beginning of returning self-esteem in my life. My name is Arlen Chaleff, and I'm today on the advisory board of NAMI, National Alliance of Mental Illness. It's a program where families are so stigmatized, and who do they talk to? They come to this family-to-family program. They see others going through the same thing. They learn about mental illness and have an idea of what some of their children are going through. I've had them say to me, this program saved our lives. We're now able to work with our child. I just thought this program has to go on forever. Forever, as long as mental illness exists.
Arlen is caring, she's kind, she has incredible leadership qualities. She's probably one of the hardest working volunteers I've ever worked with in over 28 years. Arlen has showed me and so many people in our community that you can live a very full life living with mental illness.
Telling personal stories is the way to help destigmatize this illness. It had nothing to do with me. It just had to do with me being a messenger. And the blessings that I have to live through my illness the way I have makes me feel responsible and makes me feel proud that I can speak for others who live with the shame of it and not the courage that they really deserve.
Her impact in our community has been overwhelming. She has helped thousands of people and families that have dealt with mental illness. God has blessed her with her story and with sharing her story to all of us. An unsung hero does something for other people without wanting any praise. Arlen doesn't want any praise. She wants only to help people and to help them in their circumstances.
I can't tell you what it means to me. It means more than anything. Being an unsung hero this year is the greatest achievement I can have. It's given me the opportunity to really let our community know what is available and how much more they could do if they want. And that, my other honors pale compared to that.
Hundreds of IDF soldiers without family support systems receive much-needed personal care items thanks to St. Louis-based Shaving Israel. Leading the organization's dedicated volunteers is the president, Dr. Laura Goldmeier. In addition, Laura has led the B'nai Amunah Mitzvah Circle, which collects goods for disadvantaged people and those in need. And she brings the same commitment of excellence in her volunteer work as she did during a long career as an OBGYN physician.
My name is Laura Goldmeier. My main areas of volunteer work are with B'nai Amunah as head of Mitzvah Circle and with Shaving Israel, where I am the president. Mitzvah Circle does projects such as collecting food for the Jewish food pantry. We've collected clothing for Employment Connection for people doing interviews. We have many other projects that go on during the year. This past year, of course, we've been limited by COVID-19. Shaving Israel is an organization that was founded by a Holocaust survivor, Rachel Miller. And what we have been doing is collecting funds in the United States to buy items in Israel, which we then distribute to soldiers in the Israel Defense Forces who lack family support and cannot afford some of the extras. So, for instance, extra socks, toiletries, jackets, shirts, towels, cell phone chargers, things like that.
I know Laura Goldmeier basically from Congregation B'nai Amunah, and Laura is extremely active with social endeavors, community help. She's relentless. If she has something on her mind to do that will help somebody, someplace, she just actually puts all her energies into it and makes everybody else want to do it as well. The committee that she heads at B'nai Amunah it was called Social Action Committee. She has made it something that encircles everybody and everything to help in the community. Not only at B'nai Amunah itself, but also in the broader community.
When I found out I had won this award, I was just happy that I was sitting down at the time because I found it really incredible that I would be honored. To me, the true unsung heroes are the members of Shaving Israel, the members of Mitzvah Circle, people who work so hard behind the scenes. And I also have to say, I really admire everyone who showed up for work in 2020 to 2021 during a pandemic. To me, they are my unsung heroes.
Nancy Kaiser has been a mainstay of the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum for 17 years. She not only has been an effective docent, but also served as chair of its marketing committee, where she has used her journalism and marketing background to help promote the museum's services, events, and oral histories. To quote Nancy, "It's become part of my heart and soul to be involved with that organization for so many years, partly because we have an opportunity to educate people about the lessons and the history of the Holocaust, but perhaps more importantly, to inspire change and promote understanding." Nancy has also served as a board member of the local NAMI chapter and cared for abused children at Our Little Haven.
I've been volunteering with the Holocaust Museum for almost 18 years and volunteering at other places probably at least 25 years ago I started. I believe that each one of us has the ability to make a difference, and because of that I think we also have a responsibility to do so. I wanted to make sure that I could use whatever skills that I had and time that I had to get involved with an organization that's meaningful to me. At the Holocaust Museum, I'm a docent or tour guide for visitors who are coming through the museum. I've also served on several committees and chaired 2 committees. When people think of the Holocaust, they often think that it was a depressing, a terrible, horrendous period of time in history, which it was. But we can't change the past. We can try to make the future better. And so being able to educate and engage and empower our visitors to not only learn about the causes of the Holocaust, but to consider how the lessons of the Holocaust can be applied today to their lives, to speak up when they hear somebody making a disparaging remark or a so-called joke against a certain individual or a certain group. Each one of us can make a difference. And often when you're particularly talking to younger people, they don't feel very powerful. I'm one kid, I'm one teenager, what difference can I make? But I tell them if we all group together, that there is power in numbers, and they will find that when they start doing that they have more power than they ever knew.
I'm Dan Rich. For 22 years, I was curator and director of education for the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum. Nancy is a wonderful volunteer. She's willing, she's enthusiastic, she brings her empathy, her compassion, and her ability to be a great communicator to her roles at the Holocaust Museum.
I have volunteered at a lot of places, and not only the staff, but the other volunteers at the Holocaust Museum, it's just an experience unlike I've had anywhere else. I've always felt that if there is one visitor to the Holocaust Museum who is engaged, educated, and energized to go out and make the world a kinder, gentler, safer, more equitable place, then all the time that I put in is worth it.
Nancy truly deserves this recognition as an unsung hero. She contributes to this community in so many ways.
Find an organization whose mission matches your values, and also find a place where your skills, whatever they may be, can really be applied to make a difference. I want to hopefully inspire other people to volunteer where it's meaningful for them to do so, and also to let a wider audience know about the Holocaust Museum and what a fabulous resource it is, and hopefully inspire them to visit when the museum reopens next summer.
I make something out of nothing has been the mantra of Carolyn Satz for many years. This not only refers to her volunteer work for the National Council of Jewish Women, but also United Hebrew Congregation, Crown Center, the Senior Olympics, and several local school districts. For example, at NCJW's resale shop, Carolyn comes across jewelry missing beads that others might simply throw away. Instead, Carolyn finds a way to fix the necklace so that it can be sold to raise money for the organization. Carolyn sees potential where other people see a lost cause. That's how she approaches all parts of her life as a volunteer.
I've volunteered many places over the years. I've been on the boards of Crown Center, I've been on the board of National Council of Jewish Women, United Hebrew. I've done volunteer work at the J. Volunteering at the United Hebrew Library is rewarding, just keeping it in order and being available to people to come in and check out books. It's my little bit of connection to them. National Council of Jewish Women is a not-for-profit agency, and their mission is to improve the lives of men, women, and children in our community. Right now, my main focus is with the resale shop. We sell gently used items, accessories, jewelry, housewares. And what I do, I have 2 friends, and we take care of all the jewelry. We clean it, we fix it, I'm the fixer, and we sort it out and we price it. The money we raise, which is probably the biggest fundraising activity with National Council of Jewish Women, goes to help fund our projects that we have throughout the community.
I met Carolyn about 25 years ago. We were both volunteering for the couturier sale for the National Council of Jewish Women, and we have been working for the organization ever since.
And I met Carolyn about 20 years ago. We were working on the National Council of Jewish Women's back to school store. That's how I got to know her, and we've been working together ever since. When you think about an unsung hero, you think about somebody who is really selfless, and really that is Carolyn. Carolyn sees a problem and she jumps to help solve it. You know, regardless of what the situation is or who the person is, and that's the kind of individual that she is.
We are thrilled that she's been nominated and won for someone who has committed so much of her time and effort to the NCJW, to the Jewish community, to her family. She's just deserving.
We're proud of her.
I think friends first got me into this, and I just think that I found a little bit that I liked about it, and I just kept getting to know the people in charge, getting to know staff members, and just being passionate about it and being kind to people. I think that's what makes you want to come back for more. When you have great outcomes from the projects that you've chaired, or the job you've done, and things go well, you know, it's a good feeling. And the people you serve are so happy. That's a good feeling. Thank you to everyone at NCJW, the staff, the volunteers, the resale shop for nominating me for this award. Thank you so much.
The St. Louis Jewish Light would like to say thank you to our 2021 sponsors. Tributes are open throughout tonight's program and will remain open until November 20th. To honor one of our heroes or this year's event, simply visit www.stlJewishLight.org.
Our next hero, Jeannie Weiss, admits she is a ham. She also has theatrical chops. Ginny is an expert in puppetry, and she can do impersonations of 100 different voices. She introduced puppetry to St. Louis public school children through Springboard to Learning, where she taught classes for 27 years. Jeannie also directed Jewish Community Center's Trooping Puppeteers, a group of seniors who made their own puppets and performed for preschoolers and senior groups.
I volunteer in 2 special areas, puppetry and theater. For the Puppet Guild, I develop workshops, and then I teach the workshops either on our Days of Puppetry or at Puppet Guild meetings. At home, since we had COVID, I've been making puppets for Project Backpack. Project Backpack was actually developed by one of the unsung heroes a few years ago, Judy Pearlstone, and she and her group fill backpacks for homeless children, and they fill them with school supplies, and then I try to make as many puppets as I can to add a puppet to each one of the backpacks. Hi, everybody. I'm Mindy Mouse. With my theater work, I've been involved with Showstoppers and Broadway Fantasies with a combined 25 years. And then I did 10 years of shows with Cher Emmeth quite a while ago. And I've been doing the Purimspiel for the last 6 years. The way I got into puppetry was that I had joined the National Council of Jewish Women for my first volunteer job after I got married. I was asked by one of the council members to go on the road with the puppet show. I had such a good time with it that I thought I would really like to pursue puppetry. Well, my daughter was 3 at the time and having a birthday party, and I didn't want to spend the money to hire an entertainer, so I did Little Red Riding Hood. That worked out really well. And then my daughter told her teacher that I did puppet shows, so I was immediately asked to do a puppet show for that class. I eventually became professional. At the same time, that's when I joined the Puppet Guild and learned a lot more than I had already known.
I'm Doug Felch. I'm with Bob Kramer Marionettes here in St. Louis. I've been performing puppet shows here since about the same time we met our dear friend Jeannie Weiss, about 1975. We love puppets and we love Jeannie Weiss. People who work with her know she's a hero and a wonderful, wonderful person to work with, but getting recognition doesn't always happen. Everyone should know more about her and use her as an example of a true volunteer and a good, kind person. That quality of kindness and generosity, sadly, there's not enough of it today, and we need more examples of people like that.
I've learned that if you keep on volunteering, you'll just feel so good about yourself and want to do more and more. And I have found that people really do appreciate what you've done. I feel so fortunate to do things that I love to do. I don't consider anything that I've ever done is really work. It's just been a lot of fun. I would like to thank my family, my late husband and my 2 daughters and their families for being so supportive in everything I do. I'd also like to thank all the wonderful people that I worked with in the organizations I've been a part of. They've been my friends for 50 years. I'd also like to thank the St. Louis Jewish Light for giving me this amazing award. I am totally humbled by it, and I just really appreciate being called an unsung hero.
This is Marvin the Moose, and he's known Jeannie Weiss for over 40 years. And
Really?
You really have, yeah. And he's worked with her puppets, of course. We say puppetry keeps us young, and it's certainly in Jenny's case to think that she's a great grandmother. I'm like, I can't believe that at all. She is an inspiration and a joy, and we've loved knowing her, and we love staying young with her.
Yes.
Congratulations, Jenny.
Yes.
From Bob Kramer Marionettes.
Our last hero is actually 2 groups whose volunteers work with older adults, helping them to learn their technology. The first of these groups, Get Tech, was comprised of 24 volunteers ranging in age from 20-something to 80-something. Get Tech provided qualifying St. Louis County seniors an Android tablet and tutoring with volunteers on that particular device. During much of the COVID pandemic, these volunteers provided technical support to older adults over the phone until they could learn to communicate through Zoom. Volunteers provided more than 400 hours of learning in more than 675 conversations, helping to alleviate isolation and loneliness along the way.
The Get Tech project was a time-limited project. It was in response to the pandemic and increasing access to technology that would enable people to connect with each other. The organizations involved were NORC, which is where I spend my time, Jewish Family Services, JFS, the J, Covenant Place, and the Crown Center for Senior Living. What was really unique about this project, about Get Tech, was that we were providing the tablets, we were providing the internet. The tablets they could keep, the internet we were able to provide for several months.
A major part of Get Tech was, yes, learning technology, but also just interaction to make sure people weren't feeling isolated. And so my responsibility was to call several folks each week to nurture them in their new tech experience and skills, but also just to get to know them. And that was probably the most rewarding part. The goal of the tech is a tool to get to know and encourage those who needed to be encouraged.
I think people really found friendship when we rolled this out to the volunteers and we said, yes, one of the goals is to learn to use technology, but the most important thing that we want to get from this is connection. And so even if they're connecting over the phone to talk about the technology, that's a win. And so our graduation, which we held on Zoom and had our participants speak and some of our volunteers speak, it was so powerful to see that they'd really developed these friendships. People didn't believe they could do it. Many said that they never thought that they could master this. Our volunteers helped remind people of their strengths and that they could learn new things. And we had people connecting with family members, across the world.
It makes you feel significant to be part of something larger than you, and you realize there's a whole crew of volunteers that I've never met personally. I've only seen them via Zoom. But to realize we were all in this together makes me feel good.
The second group being honored is Tech Tutor, which has 33 volunteers, also spanning a wide age range. Covenant Place started the program in 2014 and ramped it up in 2019 during COVID. Its focus is on tutoring older adults on any devices they already have but do not know how to use. Currently, Tech Tutor tutors offer one-on-one software support with a Geek Tech in the Mirowitz Center on Monday afternoons.
Back in 2014, Covenant Place started the Tech Tutor program. And then it became apparent during the pandemic that we had to ramp up the program because there were so many older adults who were socially isolated and technology was going to be their only way to connect with people on the outside. The services are provided free of charge because of a grant through the Women's Auxiliary Foundation for Jewish Aged. The Tech Tutor program has evolved into 3 different areas. So the first area is one-on-one tutoring assistance. So we match tutors with older adults. They have the same devices and they work on the phone or they work online and they learn how to use the technology. The second component is we have volunteer speakers who do Zoom programs, and we've had a whole bunch of different subjects that people can learn about different types of technology. The third component, which we're really excited about, we just started Tech Tutor Hardware Helper, and that's in person, and we are providing one-on-one tutoring at the Mirowitz Center in half-hour increments because there are just some things you can't figure out online or over the phone.
Jim and I show up every Monday, and in advance we are given a list of people who sign up to get some help with the tech they already use. So it might be, I need some help with an iPhone, or I need help with this Samsung tablet. When we're able to solve a problem that's been presented, you can see physically there's like a settling in their chair. They're more relaxed. It's almost as though a burden has been lifted that they simply didn't know how to deal with. Knowing that we've brought somebody joy, knowing that we've engaged them in something that they're not used to. So who doesn't like to learn? And most of the folks have walked away saying, I've learned something new today. I didn't know how to do this before. So it broadens their horizons. And again, everybody wins. It's a win-win.
People who never used technology before are learning these new skills and they're enjoying it. And it's just an incredible thing to see. I would like to say how exciting it is for Tech Tutor volunteers to be recognized as unsung heroes, because that's exactly what they are. They are unsung heroes. And they rose to the occasion. They helped older adults who were struggling, and they gave back to our community during a time when senior citizens needed help the most.
Some of the most dedicated and valued volunteers shine accolades. They do the work behind the scenes because they support an organization. That describes Dr. Jeffrey Golden, who is being honored this year with a special recognition for his decade-long service to the Jewish Light as a treasurer of the board. Jeff understands the unique needs of a nonprofit board and its organizational structure. He also is a wizard at accounting and science, not to mention the epitome of a gentleman. In his soft-spoken manner, he accomplished difficult tasks with excellence. These traits and skills were put to good use by the Jewish Light in recent years as Jeff helped develop best practices for accounting and other important facets of the Light's structure.
I'm Dr. Jeffrey Golden. I'm a scientist, an inventor, and a businessman. I'm a volunteer with the St. Louis Jewish Light. Until September, I've been a trustee on the Board of Trustees, and I've been on the board for 11 years. I have been a variety of different officer positions. I've been chairman of the business committee and chairman of the audit committee on and off for several years. And those committees provide planning and financial and policy oversight.
Jeff does a lot of the behind-the-scenes work. He never wants to get credit for any of it, but he will do anything that the organization needs. He will do policies, he'll do protocols. He just is willing to do anything and everything to make the organization a success. And he doesn't do it for the glory. No one even probably knows how much he has done behind the scenes because he will never tell you about it. He is very quiet about what he does, and he just goes around and does it and gets everything done behind the scenes. He's very committed to having best practices on everything that he does, and he will research anything.
I've also done special projects and done analytics for those special projects. And one of them, which was very important to the Light, was to study how we could go from a paid subscription model to a community-free subscription model.
He would even count parking spots at synagogues to figure out how many people there were in the community and how many people we could possibly reach. He will be that detail-oriented. He's so modest and he's so smart. And with all of that together, he brings something to the table as a board member that you don't see every day.
You know, this is a matter of relativity. It depends on your point of view. It's not about giving back to the community. It's actually about participating in the community and being a part of the community. It's about tikkun olam. It's about improving the world. And it's about strengthening the community in which we live. And that benefits everybody in the community, including oneself.
There you have it, our 2021 Unsung Heroes. On behalf of the co-chairs and the St. Louis Jewish Light, we hope you enjoyed your time with us and thank you for celebrating this year's honorees. We look forward to seeing what bright lights shine next year. Until then, goodbye.